Beate, we've got an interesting question here, which is about the different vaccines in respect of pregnancy. Is there any evidence that one or another is better against Omicron?
Right, well, thanks, Christoph. Well, that's not an easy question because, first of all, the pregnant women weren't included in the efficacy trial, so we don't even know if there's any advantage between any of the vaccines, never mind whatever variant. However, I think we need to look at it from first principle because there's no reason to suggest that there should be any difference in efficacy whether you're pregnant or not, because pregnant women make excellent antibodies in response to all the vaccines that have been assessed in observational studies and in some of the now ongoing efficacy studies. And hence, the same vaccines that can prevent SARS-CoV-2 in non-pregnant women are clearly also suitable to do so in pregnancy. And we've seen why this is a really important intervention. So, Omicron is obviously a concern because it's the new variant. But the concerns around the vaccine efficacy for Omicron are the same as in the general population. And we've seen reduced activity of the currently used vaccines, including the mRNA vaccines against Omicron, due to the mutations in the spike protein. However, the really important protection against severe infection remains preserved. Now, I've seen a preprint just early in January, which compared the responses, immune responses, not efficacy, but just immune responses in pregnant women between the two mRNA vaccines that are in use in pregnancy. And, the bottom line is there is loss of neutralization, but it is still possible to continue to attenuate the disease severity in pregnant women. So I think we shouldn't worry too much about the variants. We should worry about the fact that the pregnant women are getting vaccinated in the first place.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Should pregnant women have the booster vaccine if they've already had COVID?
Again, a really important question. Also, again, a question that not only pregnant women are asking themselves, because you think if you had COVID, you will already have antibody. Now, that is true, but the level of antibody induced by the infection is probably less or similar to the antibody that's induced by the vaccine. And much like with the vaccines, it might not last forever. And, when you think about why we're vaccinating the pregnant women is to really maximize the amount of antibody that can go through the placenta to reach the infant and give protection both to the woman, of course, but also to the baby. And the higher that antibody is, the more can reach the baby. And it's also likely that the higher the antibody in the woman, the less likely severe infection can actually hit her, whether pregnant or not. And, vaccination and boosters are also recommended in non-pregnant women, whether they had COVID or not. And therefore, there isn't really a difference. However, one just needs to think about the interval, because we wouldn't want to give a vaccine or a booster vaccine to a woman who very recently had COVID, and anyone receiving vaccines must be fully recovered. And the minimum interval is 28 days. And Omicron has clearly shown that we need the booster vaccination to get antibody levels into the protective range to prevent severe illness.
Okay, Beate, thank you very much indeed. I know you have got to dash, so thanks for those very, very comprehensive answers.